When day turns to night, and the moon is hidden from sight, shed the king of you and wear the queen. The 9 realms will open, and your magic be free. Hi everyone, it's your favorite drag witch, Nova Jupiter Jenkins. Or at least I'll be your favorite once you get to know me. So you may have noticed, but it's not the full moon. What's the sitch? It turns out Adam was a little too eager to wait until the next full moon, so he decided to conduct a little experiment and perform the spell that brings us here on the new moon. He had to tweak it a little, but it worked, and here we are. Not only that, but something else happened during the spell. As many of you witchy listeners know, certain approaches to magic call for casting a circle in which to safely complete your spell work. Well, when Adam was performing the spell to come here, his curious and rambunctious cats, Mimi and Yu, jumped into the circle and were transported here and transformed as well. No, they weren't transformed into drag cats, sillies. They were transformed into Ravelines, half raven, half feline familiars. Meet Hugo and Munzie. Say hi, my darlings. So, the July moon is known as the Carapace moon here in the Heath, and that name is based on Lakar, the giant spider whose carapace covers the moon once a year as she lays her eggs. It's also Friday the 13th. Ooh! As most witches know, the day doesn't have any inherent power by itself, but it has been given a lot of power by people over the years, and that was even before the movie series. The human collective unconscious has the ability to bestow a lot of power on a thing, and thanks to fear and superstition, witches have a fun little play day. So get out there and enjoy it. Cast a little spell for me. Holy dragon things are different here in the Heath during a new moon. Way more eerie and a lot darker. The darkness infuses everything. You can expect the new moon episodes to reflect a darker tone, so consider yourself warned. But before I get into the rest of the episode, I would like to offer an apology. Last time I made reference to our trans brothers and sisters, and by using the terms brother and sister, I was being exclusionary of our non-binary siblings. I was caught up in the moment, and it wasn't until Adam was uploading the episode that he noticed. We definitely don't want anyone excluded from this party. I'm sorry for my thoughtless gender bias. It's no excuse, but I think subconsciously there was something about the word sibling that didn't resonate with me. I mean, I know it's a convenient gender-neutral term that already exists in the English language, which is rare enough, but as I tried to examine my gender bias, I found that the word feels like it lacks the same level of connection. And a big part of that is because we don't realize how loaded with presumption these gender terms can be. For example, when someone identifies as male and refers to someone as their brother, there can be the presumption of a bond shared by having similar experiences within the family that include gendered expectations of their roles in the family. Whereas when a male-identified individual refers to someone as sister or vice versa, that can carry presumptions of a protective relationship where the brother is expected to act as a guardian, protecting his sister's precious virtue. The arrogant creative artist in me wanted to create a whole new word, because making up new words is fun, though not necessarily useful to the larger conversation. So I decided to shift my perspective a little and look at the word without context, which involves saying it over and over and over and over and over again until it no longer seems attached to any meaning. Then I realized that it's actually an awesome word because it contains the word bling. So I propose we shorten sibling to bling, because our siblings, whether by blood or otherwise, are often people that we're proud of and want to show off. And our trans siblings especially are often bright and shiny examples of awesomeness in our community, displaying a strength in the face of adversity that a lot of us don't have. Sorry, I shouldn't generalize or speak for others, but I know that Adam admires all of his trans friends for knowing who they are and fighting to be themselves despite society telling them in small and big ways that they shouldn't exist. So let's all be each other's bling and sparkle the hell out of this world. Okay, back to our irregularly scheduled program. Another thing that's different during the new moon is the library, which is always full of light from an unknown source during the full moon, and is currently shrouded in darkness. I mean, looking back now, obviously the full moon is the source, so it's not that unknown, but there aren't any light fixtures. Right now I can see the occasional pocket of light from a patron reading by candlelight, or looking for a book among the stacks, or running for their lives. It's kind of sweet, really, like fireflies on a summer night. Many people find the darkness to be a place filled with fear and dread, but the darkness can also be a refuge from the harsh light of reality, a place filled with potential and peace. Sometimes that peace can refer to death, but other times it's the peace of the womb, or a cocoon where we can gather and await transformation, which is all death really is anyway. And then there's the darkness inside of us, which is what really causes us to fear the darkness outside, because in the darkness it's all the same and the world around us becomes a reflection of the world within. I think if we spend a little time connecting with our shadow selves, they would become less scary, and once light and dark are working together instead of against each other, we would become more powerful. And just be careful not to lose your balance. I'm going to avoid Star Wars references here, but you get the idea. Now, speaking of death and the darkness inside of us, next I'd like to talk about a topic that some may find difficult and triggering, and that's suicide. So if the topic makes you uncomfortable, then you may want to skip ahead by about 4 minutes or so. People say, no, don't talk about it. You're going to normalize it. But newsflash, it's already normal, especially among queer and trans youth. Not talking about it doesn't make it go away. Starting and maintaining those conversations may help us to help those who are struggling. Often, the bigoted and intolerant point to the high numbers of queer and trans suicide as proof that something is wrong with us, not understanding that it's the toxic environment created by them and those that came before them that sometimes make it impossible for our blink to sparkle. So for this episode's story time, Adam wanted me to share his experience with suicidal thoughts. It was in high school, as it so often is. The loneliness was overwhelming, as it so often is. Adam was likable and made friends, if not easily, then eventually. But he didn't have the kind of home life he could let friends in on, so they all had to stay on the surface, outside of his darkness. And no one specifically told him, you can't be gay. But the messages were everywhere, mainly in the form of assumptions, both in society at large and in his family. So this intensely lonely kid, not feeling like he was supposed to exist in the world, started to wonder what it would be like to just go to sleep forever. It sounded like a dream, so to speak. He would sit in pre-calculus and stare at the creases where his hand met his wrist and think, they even come with dotted lines to cut across. Of course, at the time, Adam didn't know that wasn't the correct way, but that's hardly the point. At home, he'd spend hours hiding in the bathroom in the dark, fantasizing about the different ways he could disappear from this world and not leave any fuss or muss for others to worry about. Fortunately, Adam didn't reach the point of attempting suicide, in large part because he happened upon friends whose darkness spoke to his and allowed his light to shine a little brighter. They also got into witchcraft together, which helped Adam through the times when his friends couldn't be there. Not all of us have the luxury of finding our tribe in time to make a difference. But we're out here, my bling. I promise. Come find us. And now, because silence equals death, in lieu of a moment of silence for our bling who were dimmed too early, a lament. Shairandarmi Vandarminisha Karnarvande Dornimavi Kyuna Indermini Vasa. So this brings us to the New Moon Tarot reading. Full moon readings can shed a lot of light on the world around us, but during the new moon we get a different kind of sight as our third eyes adjust to the darkness. In the dark we can find all sorts of creeping, crawling friends who can help us on our way. So for this tarot reading, we're going to use the spider web spread. You may have just shuddered a little thinking of a spider crawling up your arm or across your face while you sleep. But spiders are our friends. Mostly they just want to give us silken kisses. The first position in this spread is the wind line. This is the initial strand that the spider has to throw into the void with the faith that the breeze will carry it across to the other side. The card coming up in this position is the Wheel of Fortune, reversed. Change is coming and it's not for the best. You have to throw caution to the wind and stop holding yourself back. Stop being small. Throw yourself upon the wheel because it is always turning and it will come back around. The second position is the anchor line. After the breeze has taken the strand to the other side, it must be anchored before the building of the web can begin. The card coming up here is the Star. The Star card represents hope, faith, confidence, promises. As we gather in the darkness, we need to hold on to hope and have confidence in the path we've chosen. Along with that, we have to make sure that our words mean something. In the heath and in some cultures on the earthly plane, though more so in the past than today, a person's word is their bond. No further contracts or guarantees are required. We need to strive for that in our day-to-day, for the darkness holds no fear when we can trust ourselves and each other and be the inspiration in the world that we're meant to be. The next two positions go together. They are the bracing lines that begin to form the structure of the web, foundations that must be laid before the true web develops. The first bracing card is the Three of Cups, which is a card of friendship and celebration. This provides the happy memories that we hold on to in the times when we find ourselves alone in the darkness. In the absence of happy memories, the thought of good times to come when we find our path can help draw us forward through the dark times that we encounter. The second bracing card is the Three of Swords, which is a card of sorrow and grief, the balance to the merriment of the Three of Cups. The sorrow and grief that are inevitable in life provide wisdom and perspective and help us to truly appreciate our friends and the joys they bring. They also help us to remember that however bad things can get, it can always get worse. The next position represents the radial lines of the web that the spider uses to travel across without getting stuck itself. The card in this position provides the means for us to navigate our sphere without getting caught in our own traps. The card coming up here is the Emperor, which represents stability and creating order out of chaos. It cautions to cultivate emotional detachment as a tool that you can use at will when the chaos of life threatens to overwhelm. And meditation is going to be your best tool for getting a hold of that emotional detachment. Next up are the adhesive lines. The card in this position represents that aspect of us that allows us to capture and hold on to what sustains us. The card coming up here is the Empress, which represents creativity, potential, sensuality. Here, it's advising to pursue your passion. Even if you can't do it for a living, do it anyway. Your passion is going to sustain you through the dark times and help you give you purpose when you feel lost. The seventh position is the signal line, the line the spider uses to feel the vibration of the web to know when the prey is caught. The card coming up is the Three of Pentacles. This is the card of skill, creativity, talent, ability. It advises to hone your passion from the previous cards so that you are prepared when opportunity comes crawling. And the last position is the prey that gets caught in your expertly built web. The card coming up here is the High Priestess, guardian of the cosmic mystery. So, if you can balance your light with your dark, Celebrate your joys and remember your sorrows. Keep your head while staying in touch with your passion and perfecting those skills to be ready for anything. The Wheel of Fortune will bring you the mysteries of the universe. Alright, it's time for some dream interpretation. The following dream was submitted by a listener named Jason. No other details provided. I was having a sleepover with some friends, including this guy from work named Steve, who's supposedly straight and has a girlfriend, but I get kind of a bi vibe from. We're all sleeping in the living room, and he and I are sharing a mattress, and this lesbian couple are sleeping on the hide-a-bed. There's this new guy that none of us know. I'm not sure how he became included, but he's sleeping on a single foam mattress next to our mattress on Steve's side. He's pretty cute, and I definitely wouldn't mind being in the middle of that sandwich. As we're getting ready to lie down, I invite the new guy to share our big mattress, but he declines. And as we lay down to sleep, him and Steve start making out. Shortly after, they get up and leave to go find some place to hook up. They were kind of trying to hide what they were planning, but not very hard because of how obvious it was. I woke up shortly after. Well, Jason, there are two approaches we can take with this dream. Either the universe and or your subconscious are telling you that no matter how perfect the circumstances may get, this guy is never going to be for you. Or you're afraid that that's the case. My feeling is that your subconscious is picking up on his lack of interest in you. Whether it's because he's not attracted to men, not attracted to you personally, or monogamously coupled with his girlfriend and not in a position to entertain such thoughts either way. I think your subconscious wants you to let go of the situation, for your sake as much as his. If he's available and interested, he'll let you know. If he's not, you're likely to make him uncomfortable. And if you're friends with him, approach the friendship without hope or expectation that he'll turn out to be a 6-beer queer. Either way, respect his boundaries, because respecting boundaries is sexy. And thanks for taking the time to share your dream with us. So, last time I said you could find the podcast anywhere you listen. Well, that was a bit of an assumption on my part that it would be easier than it was for Adam to get the podcast on different platforms right away. So I know he has it up on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube for sure. More to come. But now I also have Twitter. You can follow me at @njupiterjenkins. I magic the tweets out into the ether throughout my month-long nights, so no telling when they might make it through to your world. Magic can be a little unpredictable that way. If you're enjoying the podcast, tell a friend or two, and don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment. You can send your dreams or anything else you want to send to novajj@novajj.net, and you can visit novajj.net for show notes and other fun stuff. And remember, it's never okay to slap a medium. They're just the messenger. It's not their fault your grandmother was kind of a bitch. Bye.